Thank you for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. I am music producer Achickwitbeatz.
And I am entrepreneur Breezy Gipson.
And we're delighted that you've joined us once again. We've got another show lined up that's just full of music industry news and, of course, beats by yours truly.
Yeah. I mean, those beats be banging too.
Appreciate that. And speaking of appreciation, we'd like to send a shout out to our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia. And, we appreciate them for giving us room for our platform to be able to share this important stuff with you that'll help you kind of shape your music career in the way that you want it to roll.
Hey, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive on in.
All right, let's do it.
listening to Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson on the Music Marvels Radio Show. Gipson from the Breeze team. How would you like to see an online platform that brings you people who've already indicated that they're interested in your particular type of business? Whether it's your music you're selling, hip-hop clothing, you got a restaurant or a cafe, or if you're an entrepreneur or agent for a business. Visit me at breeze2cheese.com. That's using the number 2, breeze2cheese.com, or click my bio link on my Instagram profile to see a live demo of how this can help you get more customers and make more money.
Hey, this is Achickwitbeatz. I am a multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit my website, Achickwitbeatz.com, for resources for artists and instrumentals available in various genres for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's Achickwitbeatz.com, ACHICKWITBEATZ. Let's make something happen. All right, we're back with music industry news. First off, Concord is purchasing stuff again as it just snatches up Mojo Music and Media's catalog of more than 30,000 songs. So the New York, Nashville, and London-based music publisher Mojo Music and Media's catalog spans 9 decades with, like I said, that 30,000 songs, but it includes the works of REO Speedwagon, Kiss, Cheap Trick, and more. And now it's a part of Concord's publishing portfolio of 800,000 songs. So, they're just adding to the collection, buying up stuff left and right. And I mean, just to think, to be in control of 800,000 songs and responsible for the publishing administration on that, that's wild.
Yeah, it is. It's wild. 800,000. Yeah.
All right, this one, you may have heard a little bit about it, but I still think it's definitely worth us talking about it today. But T-Pain says that the Buy You a Drink song basically made him no money, according to him. So he revealed this during the Twitch stream, that he only gets a little bit because publishing-wise, the song references lyrics from at least 6 artists. And so when interpolations are used, a percentage of the song's earnings go to the original artists, their songwriters, and their record labels. So, I mean, you think you're paying homage, doing something that's, kind of cool. Yeah, you got to cough that up. And that's something that a lot of artists don't really recognize. Half the time, that's why we keep hearing about these different suits or whatever that go on. Not that he was sued for that, but, breaking off a chunk of that change can kind of hurt the pockets sometimes if you're using that many artists in one song. So, if you recollect the song, it's got a lot of stuff that you could sing along to without even knowing much of the original work in his song. So there's a benefit to doing that because it kind of automatically pulls the listener in because it's something that's recognizable. And, hey, it made the song a huge success. But yeah, in the end, he's not getting that much money from it. That's an interesting concept, don't you think?
Yeah, well, then what that does is, in my opinion, that just relegates it. It dumbs it down to just at the concert performance, as opposed to putting it on wax. And so if you're performing somewhere, it's great to do that, and the crowd hears it and so on and so forth. But we're all. No disrespect to anyone, but we're all doing our own craft because we're all trying to make it one way or the other. And yeah, he did it, and as of coming out of his heart and everything. And in the end, it blew up, but he's not getting much income off of it. But then again, it just depends on the person, because sometimes the person is in a mode where the amount of income off of it doesn't really make a difference. Okay. And if that's the set, then it's fine. But if you're trying to be on the grind and generate income and whatever, okay, yeah, but then see, you got diluted all the way down to the core. And hey, that's when you say, okay, well, that happened. All right, well then next, let me move on and make another one.
Right. Yeah, diluted. That's the perfect way to explain what happened there. So yeah, you can pay homage, but you're gonna pay pretty much.
Yeah. So if you're gonna pay homage, just wait until you're doing the live performance. That'll work.
That's an excellent tip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all got that? That's free game from Breezy right there.
Don't put it on wax. So no.
Yeah. All right. TikTok is rolling out labels for content that's either made or edited using AI. And so this new policy requires a clear labeling whenever a piece of content, whether it's an image, video, or music, that's been created or modified using AI. So the company says it's rolling out this tool to make it easy for creators to be able to comply and inform their community. So that way, it'll kind of eliminate the whole, I guess, potential spread of misinformation, kind of giving viewers a context to what they're looking at. So that way, things just don't run rampant. So we know that TikTok is a great way to advertise your music and kind of connect with fans and whatever. So if you're going to be using that, be aware of this change. Make sure that you make it known so that way people aren't confused by what's going on. And, we've already talked about the potential for damage that can be done with AI. But, if it's used responsibly, it can actually be a tool. And it looks like this is a step in the right direction towards that.
Yeah. Well, and there are pluses and minuses. Just this morning, I was reading a post, a Facebook post by one of my business buddies, and he's in Las Vegas right now. And so yesterday, the sunset was just spectacular. So from his hotel room, he took a couple of photos of the sunset, and he made a post, and he posted the photo. Spectacular photo. And then he was accused in some of the comments, he was accused by some folks of that not being a real photo because of the detail that was an AI generated photo. And to the one of the comments said, well, stop with the BS. That's an AI photo.
Wow.
And okay, so I took offense to that personally because a couple of weeks ago, there was a spectacular sunset, and I was driving at the time, and it was so spectacular that I pulled over and took several shots of that sunset, and then I posted my photos in a Facebook weather group that I belong to, that we talk about different types of good, great, and bad and horrible weather. And fortunately, several other people saw that sunset, and they also took photos, and so we had several photos of that sunset. But then for this other guy, to just automatically jump and claim that my buddy's photo wasn't real, it was AI generated. Like, come on, man, come on.
Yeah, because I think that's another issue too, because there's been some videos that have caused confusion that people have thought were real, and then they find out that it's not, and then I think you have some people that jump to overcorrect, like that guy. So chances are he probably saw something that was AI generated, didn't know it, and got shamed in the comments. So now he's lashing out at everything, like, they won't get me again. We often do see people who overcorrect like that. It's just, it's becoming challenging to know the difference, and that can be disheartening and kind of make people not want to share original content with people like that around. But it's trolls lurking under the bridge everywhere on the internet. So and so I additionally included in my comment that, hey, I've still got several of the photos that I took of that particular sunset. I just am not going to post them here because I don't want to do injustice to the person who first made the post. Okay, so let's just bask in the glory of his actual photo that he made from his hotel room, and not I'm not posting mine. I already have. It's just as in a different place, but he just went off the easy how there was no way that could be an actual photo, that was an AI photo. And I'm like, man, get a grip, man, get a grip. Yeah, he got bullied somewhere else and just wanted to spread the love.
About that.
Yeah. But you know what? Speaking about this type of behavior, I should say, artists kind of come across stuff like that all the time. Whether it be new music that they're sharing or, their studio shots, it's always somebody that's going to be jealous or, probably wishing that they were doing something on the level that you were doing. A lot of times it's kind of hard to push past that, but, do the best you can to realize that some people are just unhappy and they just kind of want to, the old saying, misery loves company. So even as an artist, if you're doing something, you're doing your best and you get some negative feedback that was unwarranted, just try to brush it off your shoulders. There's tons of people that do appreciate what it is that you do. You wouldn't be compelled to make music if it wasn't somebody that needed what you have to offer.
How about that? Yep.
All right. Music industry vet Charlie Walk announces the launch of Aspen Artists. So he says he's taken his 30 plus years of experience to flip the script on artist discovery, band creation, brand marketing, and they have an in-house creative agency, social media agency, and brand development team to sign talented artists and help them gain star power. So this is pretty exciting. One, because the focus is talent, and then to help them sustain it. I know a lot of people, I do a lot of social listening online, a lot of people kind of feel like you don't necessarily need talent to achieve success these days. Theoretically, that's true, maybe on the surface level. But if you notice, a lot of those people that, were just kind of getting by because they blew up one moment, but didn't actually take the time to develop their talents, we don't really hear from them as much anymore. So, they might get their 15 minutes of fame or what that may be. But, if you actually care about what you're doing and you're constantly working to perfect it, you should actually be able to have more staying power. And so that's kind of his goal, is to make sure that these talented people can get the exposure that they deserve. And that's always great. That's a win for the artist. It's a win for the listeners, I believe. So what do you think about that?
I agree wholeheartedly. Win for the artist, win for the listeners. Yeah. So, hey.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there might be others that are in agreement with me, and just as there could be some that don't. But, just stay in the flow.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it feels like, with a lot of these stories that we've been sharing lately, it feels like there's a shift that's coming like really close on the horizon. Even with the fact, now that there have been songs that have been charting on the R&B hip hop charts lately, but the fact that they weren't actually hitting number one, for the first half of the year and all that, it's showing you that people kind of want more substance, not just the stuff that people are formulaically putting out. So yeah, there's definitely a shift coming. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I feel like we're on the edge of getting back to something real. Or maybe that's optimism. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
All right. Another Sound Exchange statistic. They've been kind of pouring them out lately, but they paid out $498 million to artists and labels in the first half of the year. So that's an increase of 7.1% from the $464.9 million in the first half of last year. And so far, Sound Exchange paid out $269 million in digital royalties just in the second quarter, which was a 17% increase from the same quarter last year. So, that's always a good thing. That means that more artists are actually receiving what they deserve from the work that they've been putting out. Hopefully this means that more people are actually registering their works so that way they can get paid as well. So this is your sign, just in case. If you're not signed up with Sound Exchange, make sure that you do that. Make sure that you actually register your works. So that way, when you get in all these plays, especially this is the time of year that we're about to slide into, where everybody's posting their Spotify stats, their Apple Music stats, and all this other stuff. What if you weren't actually getting all the money that you deserve to get from all those plays that you're sharing with everybody? So, definitely make sure you're on top of that. If you need more information about it, you can always check out my blog at achickwitbeatz.com. There's a section about making sure that you're signed up for the places that you need to be to make sure that you're actually getting paid. But man, those are some really impressive and exciting numbers, don't you think?
Yeah, but and even more so, repeat that last paragraph that you that you gave out about go to achickwitbeatz.com and check your blog. And
yes, so that way you can make sure that you know where you need to register to make sure that you're getting paid for your work. So you can check it out. Tons of free information and material there, along with links. So I'm trying not to make you have to do too much work just to make sure that you get paid for your artistry. Sounds
like a reel right there to me.
You're probably right, huh?
There you go.
All right.
Straight, a reel straight to the point.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Deezer is raising its prices again, the second time in 12 months. This time they're doing it in the EU. The individual premium price in France, Spain, Italy, and the Netherlands is rising from 10.99 euros to 11.99 euros per month. The premium price in the UK will remain where it is at 11.99 pounds per month. The family plan is going to increase about 2 euros or pounds to 19.99 per month, and it's in conjunction with this to kind of ease the pain of the increase. They're offering new subscribers a 2-month free trial of both the individual and family plans in all these markets. So just kind of a heads up wherever you're at. It makes sense that they'd be raising the prices, especially since they're trying to make sure that they're paying artists a little bit more fairly. So this doesn't really come as a shock to me. Honestly, most of the streaming services are kind of low priced. And this is something that many of us in the industry have kind of been complaining about for a while. Because the first thing that they say when you talk about the royalties that they pay artists is, okay, we're not really making a lot of money like that yet to be paying. Well, then raise the price. But yeah, baby steps. It's happening. It's been happening slowly. We've seen a few price hikes, and we'll probably see some more coming in the future.
Yep.
All right, Virgin Music has formed a distribution partnership with the independent publisher, record label, and management firm known as Position Music. Universal Music Group owned Virgin Music will distribute Position Music's existing catalog of over 35,000 songs and new releases, and it's also going to help market and promote its frontline label roster. So, we've been seeing a lot more of these collaborations lately. Believe there's even a couple more to talk about today as well. But, it's kind of one of those trends that we've been seeing. These smaller labels and companies are doing big business, even though they're smaller. And these bigger companies, the big three, are taking a look at what's going on. And instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, they either just buy it or try to partner up with it so that way they can get a part of the action. And yeah, this is one of the latest that's kind of joined those stories.
Hey. Yep. I agree.
All right. Okay. And the BBC is going to air The First Ladies of Hip Hop, which is a 3-part documentary series examining women's often overlooked contributions to the genre and culture. So the BBC Music and BBC Two series is going to feature the stories of Sha Rock, Debbie D, Roxanne Shante, Spinderella, Millie Jackson, JJ Fad, and many more, with firsthand accounts from the artists, producers, DJs, and industry insiders who kind of broke through barriers, shattered stereotypes, and found their voice to pave the way for future generations. This is something that, I definitely felt like we needed to talk about, because a lot of times women are overlooked when we talk about, the birth, evolution, and growth of hip hop. And so it's always exciting to kind of take a look and see some of these detailed stories that we may not have known fully. Maybe we heard a little bit about it. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to check this out. And again, especially if they're talking about hip hop culture, don't get me wrong, the genre, excellent, great, love it. But the culture itself encompasses so much more. And I mean, women were absolutely vital to it. And so I'm glad that it's finally going to be examined with these particular women?
Well, actually, what I was thinking, was actually when you read off those names, I was envisioning what happened to T-Pain with the song and everything. And it was kind of a humoristic thing in my mind saying, oh, well, she read off those names, wonder if that's going to get watered down like T-Pain did with his music.
You know what? That's a great point, a great question. Because sometimes depending on who else you add into that mix, it does kind of dilute the message a little bit. There was one that was actually getting a lot of press initially. I get the alerts to what's going on in the music industry, the chimes come through, and I'm checking it out, and it's like, oh, so-and-so is going to release a new documentary about women in hip-hop. And I mean, I'm telling you, I was getting so many emails that I was kind of excited about it. And then when it came out and I went to turn it on, one of the first people that they had on there, I was like, I don't think I can watch this because I already disagree. And it's like, why are you even on here in the first place? But so, yeah, I mean, you raise a valid point. Because sometimes you got to consider the source. But yeah, that's humoristic, but real. How about that?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, positively.
Yeah. All right. The Spotify boss, Daniel X, says that he has no plans to completely ban content created by AI from Spotify. So he agrees with most people that AI shouldn't be used to impersonate human artists without their consent, but valid uses for it do exist, such as auto-tune and other tools that can improve music. We've had this discussion here before a few times about how not all AI in music is necessarily bad. You can use AI to separate vocals from instruments. You can use it to actually be able to learn how to play instruments. I mean, there's all these different things that, and again, check out the blog if you're interested in it. But there's so many different ways that it can be used without actually being a substitute for talent, but to help you streamline the creation process. So yeah, I think that it makes sense that he wouldn't ban it, because the more music that's on the platform, the more stuff for listeners to be able to choose from. And if they're staying there listening, then that means, one, they're either paying for that privilege, or at least you can get ad revenue from them listening. So, I mean, from a business standpoint, I could see why they wouldn't do it. I do hope that, they'd be a little more careful or specify how it's allowed. Kind of similar to like what the Grammys did. They didn't ban it outright, but it just can't be totally AI generated. So I kind of wish that they would adopt at least that as a possible, one of the parameters, I guess I should say. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. Yeah, like I said, I think there's wonderful ways to use it to work with human creativity, but not in place of.
Well, when all this first came out last year, one of the first things I thought about was, hey, how many musicians actually can come out, they create an AI of themselves and then release some music with their AI of themselves while they still release their own music naturally, in their natural name. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so be getting twice as much traction off the same traction.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, hey, you make money off of your own AI that you created, but still make money off of yourself. Okay, so I'm sure I'm not the only one to come up with that idea. Okay, and there might be some folks out there doing it right now. So, that's something to look into.
There are some tools. So for that kind of take what you just said, but more so for live performances, to where they can kind of have that plan and be able to kind of, I guess, technically sing their own background while they're actually performing. And, I know we shared one of those resources, but yeah, you're right. That's another great way to make it work. So I think it's just because we've seen these other things happen to where, you've got these fake Drakes or fake Weekend songs or however many other people that they've done it with, since we've seen the opposite end of the spectrum, a lot of people just kind of shut down and think that that's all it's good for. But yeah, there's a lot of ways that it can be used. Like I said, again, with talent, not in place of.
Yeah. So then by the time you get ready to do a live show, then you do all of your music.
Right.
You play you play your music, then you play what you created with your name AI, and it's all, the more the merrier.
Yeah. And it'll allow you to have like vibe sessions literally right there with your fans on the spot, because it's not something that you've pre-recorded.
Yeah.
All right. Live Nation has decided to scrap artist merch fees at U.S. club venues. And I'll pause right there for the cheering in your head that might be going on right now. But as part of their On the Road Again program, artists get to keep 100% of their merch profits for each show. Live Nation will also pay acts that are playing at its participating clubs an extra $1,500 to all headliners and openers per show to cover their fuel and travel expenses on top of what they're receiving in compensation for the actual performance. So, I mean, this is tremendous. I think it's a great thing. One thing about it is, when you hear it, you're like, yay, finally. But then you kind of think, well, why wasn't this happening all along? So, hey, but at least it's happening now. The only thing is they haven't said exactly how long this program is going to go on. So it's probably not into perpetuity. Maybe it'll go well and, shows will go better for them, and then they'll decide to keep it going. But for right now, this is how things are rolling. And I think it's an excellent thing. Wish it would have been done sooner, but hey, it's happening now.
Roll with it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Warner Music India has expanded its partnership with Punjabi music content aggregator Sky Digital. So now they're moving into a joint venture to manage a roster together. The initial partnership had formed in 2021, and that was to distribute Sky Digital's repertoire outside of India. Now the companies will jointly develop and manage a talent roster, with Warner Music India facilitating the promotion of select artists. So they're going to help with everything, but then they're going to kind of skim and find who the gems that they think are, that they can kind of turn into stars. And so again, we're just talking about how these companies have kind of been starting to collaborate a little bit more. Warner was checking out Sky Digital, seeing that they were doing some big things, wanted a part of it, and there you go. So, I mean, yeah, again, it's a trend that we keep seeing, and it's something to kind of learn from as an independent artist about how to work with people that are doing something that you're interested in doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot going on, so dig on in.
Yeah. All right. And unfortunately, more than half of the existing positions were cut at Moog Music's North Carolina manufacturing plant. In Music, the owner of Akai, Alesis, M Audio, Newmark, and more, purchased Moog in June. And at that time, over a dozen staff members were let go. But this time, it's rumored approximately 30 people were released. So sources say that now the majority of synthesizer production will actually occur in Taiwan. As a result of this, they must have found that it would be cheaper to do this way. But yeah, it's kind of sad, but it also shows, it's kind of representative of some of the things that we've been seeing across the technology sector this year, and pretty much since the start of the pandemic. So yeah, there's a lot of things that have been going on that have affected a lot of music companies. This economy has been rough across the board, but yeah, it seems like the tech sector has been getting hit really hard. So, hey, hopefully the move can kind of help them get back on track, and maybe even in the future, I hope that they can restore some of those positions here in the U.S.
Yeah, I hate to hear that. It just takes me back to the late 90s. A very popular Atlanta group called the Chronicle. It was they had back then, they were just all great musicians, but now that has morphed into all of those guys being in the super elite in musicianship. But there was a shout out to L Rock, the one and only L Rock, and he was a part of that group. They were into acid jazz and so forth, and L Rock at the time was playing a straight Moog synthesizer. So they had the components of the usual bands and keyboard player, but in addition to the keyboard player was L Rock playing that Moog. And man, let me tell you, there were some sounds back then I hadn't even heard them duplicated all the way up to now. Okay, and you know, so those guys have stuck together in certain parts, but others, you know, they're all over the world now, traveling and producing and so on and so forth. L Rock is actually a producer himself, but so to hear this right here about the North Carolina outfit, you know, cutting folks and everything's being siphoned over to their location in Taiwan. I mean, wow. So, but may the Moog synthesizer live on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't go anywhere. We need you.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. You know, it kind of helps give context to exactly how influential Moog has been in music. So, yeah, I appreciate you sharing your story.
Oh, yeah, man. They had blossomed, and I mean, they blossomed to be the number one hot live attraction in Atlanta for like 5 years straight at that time. And you know, then right after that, then folks like George Duke and Herbie Hancock and oh man, I could go on into a list of saxophone players and whatever that were just the magnetism of the music just brought them. And so when these guys would perform, these other musicians that I just named, they would just show up on stage and play with them, perform with them.
Wow.
Unannounced. Okay. And so, you know, so when you get a George Duke just showing up or Herbie Hancock just showing up, you know, because they want to participate in all of that, you know, that was quite a blend back then. So, yeah. But at the root of that was the Moog synthesizer. I'll always remember.
Wow. Man, what a time.
Yeah.
Like to be a fly on the wall and, you know, have experienced that. Oh, that sounds tremendous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Once again, we thank you for joining us. We thank our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia. And, you know, this is just a pleasure. We really enjoy, you know, being able to share this information with you so that way you can get the kind of music career you want if you don't have it yet, or to maintain it. We also really appreciate the feedback that we've been getting. So, you know, thank you to those who tune in and let us know that you appreciate what you've heard. Means a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's just a blast. And I'm already looking forward to next week. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Already looking forward to it.
All right. So until next time, you know where to find us. Tune in, tell a friend, and we'll see you then. Peace.